for another Legacy Travel Top 5 video, and this time we're talking about the top 5 things we think people should know or consider before booking their trip. And we have a list today. We've got Leslie here and Jessica here, and I'm Philip. So I'm going to kick us off, if you don't mind.
Yes. Oh.
I am doing who is the first thing, and again, that may sound really basic, but what I'm really specifically talking about is how many people you want to go with you. A lot of times when I travel, I find that what I really enjoy, what really is a benefit to me, is the experiences of having these with other people and the way that travel can bond people. So if you're thinking about going on a great trip, you may want to consider, well, my good friend, Ed, maybe we'll invite Ed and his wife to go, or whoever to go. Now, maybe some situations where you just want to go with a significant other, or even on your own. But do think about if you want to get a little group together to go on a trip, that can really make the trip even much more special. So how many you want to go with you? How people you want to go with you? Get a feel for what kind of trip you want it to be that way, with who. What's your number 5 as far as this goes?
So I went in order of importance.
And so we're going to start.
My number 5.
Start with we're going to end with the most important, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So my number 5 is budget.
Okay.
So you wanna think about how much you want to put away for this trip. You want to be mindful of how much you're going to be spending on the trip as well. Some destinations can be very expensive when you're in destination, and some places you pay a lot before you go, but when you get there it's fairly inexpensive. So that's my number 5 thing to think about before planning.
It can really make or break the vacation. Yeah, it can just be a punch in the gut if you're not aware of what you're spending.
Yeah.
I know one time we went on a vacation on a cruise, and I'm in this business, and we got back and looking at the credit card statement, I'm like, they charged us twice. I know we paid for this thing 2 months ago, and here they paid again. Turns out that was our onboard.
Oh no! You spent the same amount.
We had, my daughter was like 6 or 7 at the time, or maybe 5, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Here's a picture of me, Dad. Don't we want this one? Here's one here. Don't we want this one?" And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was smoothies, the first cruise I went on. My dad had a bill that was about the same as his bar bill. And it was all smoothies. So, my number 5 is how far are you willing to travel?
Okay.
I think having an idea of how long you are comfortable spending on a plane, or if you don't even want to get on a plane, if you want to drive to a cruise port or something like that. But I think a lot of people have this idea, I want to go to Europe, I want to go to Asia, wherever. But if you're not willing to stay on a flight for 16 hours or more, then maybe we can narrow down the destinations and how far we're actually looking before you start planning too much of the trip. So how long are you willing to spend on a plane, I guess would be the one.
And this may be stepping on your toes a little bit, but it's also how far you're going to go for the comparative amount of time that you're spending.
Yeah.
There.
If you have 4 days, you don't want to travel somewhere that's going to take 28 hours.
We have people come in and say, okay, I'm going to do a 3-night, I think I'm going to go to Hawaii, and we're like, no, don't do a 3-night Hawaii.
Yeah.
You want to have more time there than you do in the plane.
Yes, agreed.
Cool.
So now we're doing number 4, and you're going to lead us off with your number 4 pick.
Okay, so my number 5 was budgeting money. My number 4 was budgeting time. So
Okay, very
Well,
similar.
that works.
Very similar.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you have enough days off from work. You want to make sure that you have enough time in destination to really get your money's worth, get your time's worth, and then also the time it takes to get there. So
Perfect.
you guys all talked about it.
Same thing that you did.
Yeah, good timing.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is dates of travel. You don't necessarily have to have, narrow down dates like we have to go on these days. It's fine if you're flexible. But sometimes if you say, I can go anytime this month, well, December is a prime example, because maybe we price out the beginning of December and then you can't travel till Christmas. There's a huge price point difference there just because holiday travel is crazy high. So just having at least a week narrowed down, maybe a couple of weeks, sometime within that week, we can travel Monday through Friday, Thursday through Monday. I think dates of travel are just so key to have before you start planning too much. because you may get a price for 1 month and then change the dates of travel, and it's just a completely different price. So dates of travel are important, I think.
Yeah, I probably want to get a feel from your work as far as
Yeah, when you can take
when
off,
is it possible
even, right? Yeah.
to go. Yeah, on them too. My number 4 is going to be budget. Money budget. So Jess talked about it, but also from the perspective of, really talk to your travel advisor about the amount of money you may be spending once you get there. We've got some cruise lines who have a pretty significant price point up front, but for some of the nicer ones, a lot of stuff is included. So you may see that price and have sticker shock, but understand that on another trip, you may be spending as you go, and it may end up being the same price or even more expensive paying as you go. So really talk to your travel advisor about how much you may be spending once you get there, and get a feel that you may want to front load it to pay it and have more included once you get there. And it's such a better feeling. I even pay a little more sometimes to have it be included, because when you're on vacation, I don't want to sit there and think, okay, do I want to do this or not do it? It's going to add this much to the bill. Already included, leave the wallet in the safe, and it makes it a lot more fun.
Agreed.
Number 3, I think you're leading us off on number 3.
Did you do? Oh, yeah, you already did.
She let us off on number 4.
Okay. So my number 3, I went back and forth because my 3 and 2 are tied. I think number 3 for me would be, do you have a valid passport? And if not, are you willing to get a valid passport? So many times people get really excited about planning a trip, which is great, but if you're not willing to get a passport or you don't have one, that process is it's a little longer, I guess, because you have to apply for it, you have to wait for it. So, you don't have to have a passport to plan any trip, but if you're not willing to get one, then that obviously narrows down where we're even going to start looking for your trip. So I think having a passport or knowing if you're going to get one or not is really important before you start planning too much.
That was not on my list, but it's very important. Listen to us very carefully. If you are flying somewhere, they have a passport card. Do not get the passport card. It does not work. Get the passport book. The passport card will only work if you're driving to Canada, driving to Mexico. Get the book. I am saying this because it is happening too often. People get to the airport and then they can't go because they think the passport card works. It does not work. You need the book.
Plus you get stamps, and that's fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Mine is similar to what Leslie said about when you go, and I'm almost a little bit opposite what you said. Try to be as flexible as possible. If you can give a range, if you can be flexible on your dates, you can save some money. There's no rhyme or reason. In some cases, you may have the exact same cruise, very similar itinerary. On week A, it is twice as much as week B, and that may be exaggeration, but it's a lot higher than week B. And it's just because on week A, there is a big group that chartered 3/4 of the ship, and so therefore they can charge more because that one's almost full. For whatever reason, week B is not selling, and they've got it discounted the exact same itinerary. So if you can be flexible, you may be able to save some money. Same thing for airfare. I mean, airfare is like stock market. There's no rhyme or reason as to why it goes up and down sometimes. So flexibility. How about you?
All right, so my number 3 is doesn't have to do with traveling to a place, but the state of your home. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now,
so
talk to me.
If you are planning a longer trip, or if you have younger kids, are they being taken care of? Are your pets being taken care of? If you have plants, are they taken care of? Did you give your keys to someone else so they can check in on your house? So that's my number 3. Just make sure that everything at home all your stuff is settled at home so you can go on a trip.
And smart. I think that will be also considered in your budget. You may have a very strict budget, and all of a sudden it's time to, you're leaving in a few weeks, and you got, wait, how much does it cost to board the pets? You're kidding. It costs a tremendous amount to board pets. Keep that in consideration. I think it's very important.
Yeah, it's also nice to come home from a long trip and everything's clean. So you want to make sure you clean your house before you go home.
I guess. I actually do.
This was going to sound vague. I'm leading off number 2. This is going to sound vague, but think about, discuss with the travel advisor what you're trying to accomplish on this trip. And sometimes people will come to us and will say, things like, I want to fly, over to Europe. I want to do Switzerland, Italy, Greece, and Germany in a week, and I want to I'm just need to get away and relax. That is, that's not possible, and you're going to be stressed completely out. So if this is a trip about relaxing, let the travel advisor know, I want to relax. Here's what I want to do. Here's where I want to go. Because it's often what people think they want isn't what they're aiming for. Saying, I really want tropical. I'm wanting to be kind of off on my own, feel like it. I want to go into Cancun. It's like, no. Cancun is high rises. Those are high rise hotels. You want to go to a different location if you're wanting to have more of the tropical feel. So get a feel for what it is you want, more so than even where it is you want, and then the advisor can help guide you that way.
Cool. Number 2, right?
Number 2.
So number 2 was already mentioned, but
Okay.
mine is entry requirements.
Yeah.
So do you have passports? Do they need a visa to go to
visa's
the...
important too.
Yes,
Holy
yes.
cow.
Yeah, I forgot that one.
Yeah, so many places nowadays will require U.S. citizens to have a visa, so make sure that everything that you need to enter the country you have, because it's so heartbreaking to just have everything and then go, and then you get to the country and they're like, no, you have to go back home. You paid for the
Sorry.
full vacation, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And it happens.
Yes. So this is when I was struggling between 2 and 3. It's very similar to yours. It's what's important to you on vacation. Not necessarily what you're trying to accomplish, but is all-inclusive important? Is a really nice beach with that crystal clear water important? Is the culture, the history? What's the most important thing? To me, when I go to a resort, I think I've mentioned this in travel top 5s before, but I could care less about a beach. I'm a swim up bar kind of girl. So if there's not a great beach, but I can see the water, I am totally on board. I don't really get in the water. So to me, a beach is not important, but it is for a lot of people. And is a swimmable beach important? Is the color of the water, the color of the sand, activity level? I think having an idea of what's important to you, because you maybe don't know where you want to go. That's why you come to us. But having those key points about what is important, I think will help us guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. I think that is so important. That's why on my list too. And your point about the visas, holy cow! Really check, really check, and we'll try to guide you as far as where to get the information. But but the consulate is always a great place. If you're going to Mexico, Mexican consulate's a great place to do it, and tell them everything. We've had at times where people say, okay, I understand, I don't need a visa. Turns out they're not U.S. citizens. They have a right to be here, but they're a citizen of another country. Try to get there, and it's like, oh, no, you're not a U.S. citizen. You need a visa. Check with the consulate. Let them know everything about what kind of documentation you have. Very important. Number 1, you want to lead us up to number 1?
Yeah, so I think this has been mentioned,
Okay.
but it's kind of a mix between what you guys mentioned. It's basically why you're going on a trip. So in it, what you're trying to accomplish, what's important to you. If you're looking to just go and relax, if you had a really stressful couple months at work and you just want to wind down, what is relaxing to you might not be relaxing to other people. So what your goals are for this trip and why you're looking to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Perfect.
My number 1, I think you mentioned it as your number 5. It's who's going, but it's not so much of who I'm going to invite. I do a lot of group travel and weddings, and I think having an idea of who is coming with you. If you're a destination wedding bride, but there's babies down the line, cousins or whatever, do you want a family-friendly hotel? Do you want an adults only so they can't bring kids? I think having an idea of who's going, or if you're trying to plan a group family trip of 30 people, are there kids coming? What are the ages of the kids at the time of travel? Because so many times you want to plan for 90 of your closest family members, but then maybe 4 end up going. So I think having a really solid idea of who is actually going or who's on board no matter what the cost, I think is extremely important.
And like I said, I did lead off with that idea. The flip side of what I'd said, and I think y'all agree with this, is it is a bonding experience. believe me, if you don't like them in the U.S., you're really not gonna like them traveling with them.
Yeah.
So you know, if it's someone that you don't get along with, you're like, well, maybe we travel together, it'll go better. It won't go better.
No.
It won't go better. You know, so pick people that you feel like you're gonna have a good
Yes.
time with when you're traveling with them. My number one is going to be how. I've kind of done a who, what, where, when thing, but my number one is how. And I think you really need to consider how you're going to book it. And of course, I'm always going to suggest using a travel advisor for it. And the travel advisor you use is going to be important. In a perfect world, the travel advisor, your favorite travel advisor, will have been to the destination where you're going and is an expert in it. But that may not be realistic. As an example, let me pick something. Have you been to Hawaii? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay. Give it to me. You haven't been to Iceland.
I've never been to
Okay.
Iceland.
So I haven't been to Iceland. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's not the one to work with. It just means that she hadn't done it. But has she booked a lot of it? She may have. Because at our agency, when the advisor books it, we're always getting feedback from the customer on what was good, what wasn't good about the trip. So it refines how they do it. So they book a lot of it. That makes them, maybe even more qualified than someone that's been there. On top of that,
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to add to it, but
no,
you're
no, go ahead. You
I was
you
going to say also, we're such a big, tight-knit group here.
That's
that,
where I'm going.
You know, one of my colleagues has been there,
Right.
so I can kind of vamp with him and see what the best fit would be based on his experience and knowledge. I didn't mean to cut
No.
you off.
That's exactly where I was going.
You're
You did
on
great.
it, yeah,
You did great.
yeah.
You did great. But yeah, with an agency like ours, if you're working with a Jess or a Leslie, you're not just working with a Jess or Leslie, because they are also talking to their colleagues about, okay, you went to this thing, and it's always amazing me as I get to sit there and hear them throw information back and forth. It's like a PhD in travel. They're throwing stuff around, and it's things, not just the knowledge, but it's also the relationships. You hear someone say, oh, that general manager owes me a favor, tell him to get your people XYZ, and I've got to hook up at this place, that kind of thing. It's just, everybody has little connections here and there, and little tips here and there,
Well,
so
I
it's
think
really great.
it's a relationship business.
I've heard that
Yeah,
before.
me too.
I have, yeah. So it is a relationship business. So yeah, my number one is, make sure there's nothing else on that I wanted to expand about. So the other thing I do want to talk about is, let's say that you normally work with Leslie and all of a sudden you're doing Iceland, it's like, oh, she hadn't been there herself. Not only does your advisor need to know the destination well and how to book it, that kind of stuff, but Leslie may know you well. And so that's a big part of the equation. So she knows you well, and so when she's talking to Marty, who's been to Iceland, he says, "Oh, you go here. They have the best, this great meal of raw fish." And she's like, "They do not like fish. We are not even going to try and go there." So it's not just the advisor that knows the product, but also they've gotten to know you. So that's the balance. They're gonna diagnose what's the best trip for you because of their knowledge of you. So mine is picking the right way to book it. I think it's always going to be an advisor, but that is mine.
Nice.
That's a good one.
So thank y'all for doing this, and thank y'all for watching our Lazy Travel Top 5.